No, this is good. Well, let's go ahead and get going here. I know a lot of
All
people are
right,
starting. I
I'm
know a lot.
ready.
Okay, great. I know a lot of people are starting to join us. I'm glad that Todd's here, our technical support. We've got Keith here. I'm excited, and I know a bunch of you guys are joining in right now all around the world. And I got to tell you what, we are excited to have you here on our Google Hangout this evening. And the great thing about these Google Hangouts, as we're kind of just filling up some time, I know a lot of you are joining right now. Just a little general housekeeping. Keep in mind, we want to make sure that we're coming in clear right now. So just a few of you real quick, if you could just text me, George, Michelle, any of you guys just text me all real quick just so that I know that you can hear me and everything's clear right now. 1 second, guys. I'm just making sure. All right, so we're good. Looks like everybody can hear us. I want to say welcome to the live overview Youngevity Hangout, our global success team, and we've got Keith Halls on the line tonight, which I'm really excited about because he's our host this evening. You're going to want to grab a pen. You want to grab a paper, type some notes while you're listening to this Google Hangout. You may have some questions that arrive. We're going to have a place for you to address every single one of them. Obviously, with these global hangouts, there's not any way to address the amount of questions that need to be addressed. So at the end of Keith's presentation this evening, we're going to give you an email so that you can make sure every single question's answered. Most of you are going to want to get back to the person who invited you on this hangout this evening so you can get signed up and get started if this is direction that you choose. But keep in mind, we know that there's a lot of orphans on here. We know that there's a lot of internet advertising and marketing behind right now these hangouts, and we have a lot of people joining us from all over the place. So jot down any questions or any comments that you may have, and we will have a place for you to submit those so you get all your questions answered. With that, I'm going to go ahead and just give it maybe 1 or 2 more minutes before we go ahead and get this hangout underway. Make sure you're comfortable. You get yourself something to drink, something to write with, and there's going to be a lot of information. It's going to be clear. It's going to be concise. And this evening's host is a guy who just literally is on an airplane all the time, going around the nation to make sure that everybody's supported and everybody's trained and every single person is heard from and is helped. Because with Keith's experience in the industry of network marketing, he's one of those guys who, having helped pioneer a billion-dollar company, having going through the type of momentum that only maybe a tenth of 1% of anybody who ever walks the industry of home-based business, network marketing, and entrepreneurship even gets a chance to experience. It's just Keith has been on the ride of a lifetime. I remember him talking about when they grew from, I think, 10 million a month to over 50 million in sales, and it was, gosh, like an 18-month period. Don't quote me on that. But Keith has experienced momentum and growth that is absolutely unheard of. And I'm excited to have him on a hangout tonight because, with where technology is going today, see, Keith has always known that it's high tech, high touch. You got to have good marketing. You have to have good advertising. But you know what? You have to have the ability to care and touch and see people. And that's just not here on the internet. That's also why Keith gets on a plane, and that's why we're going global. Australia, Tasmania, we're really opening up the whole globe right now. New Zealand, Australia's, Canada's going great. America's going great. So let's go ahead and just kind of turn it over to Keith Halls. He's accomplished some things in his career. I'm not going to steal all his thunder, but I got to tell you what, it's an honor, Keith, to have you on the Hangout this evening. Thank you, Todd, for being on here, coming on the panel this evening. We want to recognize you because you're always here technically backing us up and making sure everything runs smoothly on that end. So with that, I've got Todd Walker, I've got Keith Halls, and Keith, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to you, my friend. It's all yours.
Thank you very, very much, Cody. It's been a lot of fun. You, Todd, and I have done a lot of things together, and I want to thank you for putting this together. I mean, technology has taken such a huge step forward, and I want to thank everybody for joining on this call For some of you, it may be morning, and for some of you, maybe evening, because as we said, we have people from different countries, and it's really great to see that happening. As Cody said, that and actually just last month, I reached a milestone. It was my 30th year back in June of 1984 when I joined the industry of network marketing. And I can tell you when I joined, it was a lot different back then. But what happened and what was very, very great as far as in my life is when I started 30 years ago, and I was one of the 7 individuals who helped start a company that's become a multi-billion-dollar company out there in the industry, a company that you know as New Skin. And for 17 years of my life, I was there. I was on the board of directors. I was helping go public. I mean, it's just so many things, but it was a lot of fun. But for me, there was something that I had to do that was a lot more important to me, and that is I simply wanted to go out and help other people learn how to have success in this wonderful industry. And I knew for them to be able to succeed that they would have to find the right company. There's lots of companies out there, and they're all clamoring for your time. But there's only very, very few that have everything that you're going to need. What you need in order to succeed in this industry, and why I keep telling everyone that Youngevity is the perfect company, I'll use an analogy of a chair. Now, if I were to sit down on this chair right here, I could probably sit for as long as I wanted. And why do I say that? It's easy. It's got 4 separate legs. And with those 4 separate legs, what it truly has is a secure foundation. And there's very few companies out there, very, very few companies, and this goes for all industries, not just network marketing, but they must have those 4 legs in order to have that secure foundation. So what are those 4 legs, and what makes them so important? Well, let's talk about them. You have to join the right company, which has the right products, with the right compensation plan, and you have to make sure that the timing that you join with them is absolutely perfect. Let's talk about the 4 pillars and why Youngevity is the absolute perfect company in the industry today. First, to succeed, the company has to be led by leaders who've been tried, who've been tested out there in the field. They have to be led by leaders who knows what it takes to be able to build a company. Anybody can start a company, but not just anybody can build a billion-dollar company. And that's exactly the path that we are on in Youngevity. We're led by Steve Wallach. Steve Wallach, whose father was the founder of this company, he and his wife, Michelle Wallach, who's also the chief operating officer. But what is amazing is how they were able to bring on other individuals to help them with this same growth. They brought on individuals who know what it takes and what you have to do to become that next giant in the industry. And with that, they brought on Mr. Bill Andreoli. They brought on with him Dave Brisky. Dave Brisky has had CFO experiences many, many times, but that's exactly what we needed. The second thing with a company, not only do you need that leadership that can take you to the promised land, but you need the financial strength behind the company. Youngevity is one of maybe 20 different companies worldwide that is what we call publicly traded, or in other words, their stock sells on one of the major indexes out there. It's incredibly, incredibly hard to be able to become a public company. To do so is a mark of success for that company. In Youngevity, has just that. Not only that, in the year 2013, of all the publicly traded companies in our industry, we were in the top 5 in percentage growth. So once again, we are right up there with the best of the best. And the great thing, though, is with us, you have the opportunity of a lifetime to be able to do a lot of different things. Now, okay, let's get this moving on. Not only do you have to have the right company with the leadership and the financial strength behind it, but the products. The products are what I always like to say, they're the backbone of the company. You see, the products must be so good that you don't have to spend time to go out and sell the products. You simply have to share the products. If people have to spend time going out there to sell the products, it's not easy. But when you use a product and you can look someone in the eye and say, John, I've lost 30 pounds using Youngevity, or Jane, I'm able to walk now. Last year, I was hobbling around on a cane. And now, not only am I up walking, but I'm up playing with my family. Our motto is to make sure that the products, whichever niche they may be in, that our products are the best of the best. We carry lines in nutrition, weight loss, the essential oils, mineral makeups. We even go out and have scrapbooking and storybooking, because it's important not only for the health of the body to have the nutritional type products, but with the scrapbooking and the storybooking, it's what I like to say, it helps to build the soul deep inside a person. And we have the best of the best. Another thing that's very, very important about products is you need to be in front of a wave of consumers. You need to be also marketing products that are in the niche that people are looking for. And when you find those products that people are looking for, it's like this gigantic wave of consumers that come right after you. Our founder, Dr. Joel Wallach, he became famous back in the mid-1990s. He was making a recording of one of his tapes, and somebody out in the audience recorded him as he was giving his speech, and this young individual put the title on there, and he called it Dead Doctors Don't Lie. To tell you how well this tape is done, let me give you kind of a comparison. Out there in the world of music and entertainment, Michael Jackson, beyond a shadow of a doubt, is what they call the king of all pop and the king of all music whatsoever. Michael Jackson has sold over 150 million copies of his works, and with albums and tapes and everything like that. He's sold them in life, and he's also sold them in death. But Dr. Wallach, with his famous tape and book, Dead Doctors Don't Lie, we have sold 250 million copies. That's amazing. When Michael Jackson sells 150 million, and now Dr. Wallach's product since the mid-1990s has sold 250. It's changed the way the world looks at nutrition and at weight loss. He's a doctor, not only of veterinary medicine, he's also a naturopathic doctor. And to show how well his works are received, the Smithsonian Institute in the U.S., back in Washington, D.C., they house 2 of the books that he's written because they're so influential out there in the world. Now, when we're talking about the products, as I said, you need to be able to be in market niches where people throughout the world are buying the products. If you look in the world, in the year 2013, the second fastest growing niche in all products and in all industries was nutrition. I'm going to give you a couple of interesting facts, and I apologize, these facts deal with the U.S., but they'll point out what a lack of nutrition that we have going on, not only in our country, but throughout the world. In the year 2011, $6.4 trillion were spent worldwide on nutritional products. And of that amount, $3 trillion was spent in the U.S. alone. So people from the U.S. would probably be thinking that as far as longevity, or in other words, how long a person lives, that we're probably ranked number one. But when you go and you search, and when I went and I searched, and I looked at all the countries, we weren't ranked number one. We weren't ranked in the top 5 or the top 10. We weren't ranked in the top 25. And then I was starting to think, my goodness, what is it? I mean, surely we're in the top 25, but we weren't. We're ranked only, we're ranked 37th in the world. The average citizen in our country lives only 1 month longer than the average citizen in a small island in the Caribbean. A small island where food outages and food shortages have been a way of life. A small island that's been ruled by a dictatorship for the last 75 years. Yet the average citizen from the USA only lives just 1 month longer than the average citizen from a small island in the Caribbean called Cuba. When I saw that, I realized there's got to be a better way, and there is. Not many weeks ago, science came out, and they basically admitted, and they said, as it relates to nutrition, excuse me, as it relates to nutrition, we were wrong. You see, back in the mid-70s, Senator George McGovern, he came out and he was trying to push for better nutrition, but he came up with this idea of the 4 major food groups. And if you would eat from those 4 major food groups every day, and in a proportion that they laid out, that you would live a longer, healthier life. And today, some 40 plus years later, what are they saying? We're wrong. In fact, the problem is getting bigger and more grave than we ever could have imagined. Today, 1 in 10 Americans has type 2 diabetes. Add to that number 83 million more people who are pre-diabetic. Continuing on down, heart disease, which was the #1 killer back in the mid-1970s, it's still the #1 killer. There's got to be a better way. And guys, there is. And what is that better way? It's easy. That better way is in the product that Dr. Wallach was able to create. That product, let me get this screen changed. Dr. Wallach has participated in over 10,000 different autopsies, some on humans, some on animals. And what they found out was congruent with each autopsy. Not only humans, but also animals. But what we need are what they call the 90 essential elements. And those 90 essential elements are made up of 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and 2 essential fatty acids. People, it's amazing. People throughout the world sit there. They'll listen to different ideas sometimes. Sometimes they won't listen to any idea. Many countries are helping their people to be able to get the 16 vitamins they need, but that's just 16 out of the 90 that they need. If you're going to only give the body about 30% of what the body needs, it's about the equivalent of going out today and buying a brand new Mercedes-Benz. Now, if you bought that brand new Mercedes-Benz, that car could last you at least for 200,000 miles. And it could last you for 2 or 3 decades. All you have to do is to give the car the basic fuels that it needs. And what are those fuels? It needs gas, it needs oil, it needs a coolant, and everything like that. But if you don't give the car what it needs, it will break down. It's the exact same thing with the human being. If you don't give a human what they need, those 90 elements, then that human body will start to have red lights, just like a car would. You know, if you didn't put the coolant in the car is going to break down. And the same thing happens with our body. Dr. Wallach has put together what we call the Healthy Start Pack. And as far as we know, throughout all the countries in the world, it's the only place where you can get all 90 of the essential elements that your body needs. Now, moving right along in the products, so in the nutrition area, again, we have the Healthy Start Pack that has all 90. The second fastest growing industry that there is out there in the world today is, still kind of getting with my buttons here, the second fastest growing industry, here we go, we'll get it changed here. The third fastest growing market in niche or industry is weight loss. Millions of people are spending trillions of dollars all the time. And Dr. Wallach has shown how easy it is to lose weight. Most people in the world will go on these yo-yo type diets, and maybe they gain 10 and lose 10, gain 10 and lose 10. But Dr. Wallach showed how easy it is to not only lose the weight, but keep it off. He said once you give the body those 90 essential elements, and then he made a special pack for weight loss, and we're seeing people all over this world lose between a half a pound to a pound a day. The fifth fastest growing industry in the world is coffee. Over 260 million Americans drink a cup of coffee within their first hour of waking up. And not just any coffee, it's gourmet coffee. And they drink 3 cups a day. The reason the coffee industry is growing so quickly was because about 10 years ago, a company called Starbucks made it very in fashion to go out and have gourmet coffee. And these gourmet coffees, where you just get a few coffee beans, some water, put them together in a cup, and all of a sudden, what do you have? You have, right there in front of you, gourmet coffee that costs about 15 or 20 cents. But it's made the difference in many, many companies' bottom lines. McDonald's, just 2 years ago, during the NBA Finals, they ran 20 different advertisements, and every one was about their line of gourmet coffees. In Youngevity, our line is so good that it's being used, it's being hosted by 2 of the biggest cruise liners that there are out there in the world today. Next is what I like to call the dash. Scrapbooking and storybooking is undoubtedly the #1 hobby for women throughout the world. They love to be able to get together in different parties and put together scrapbooking. People have a birth date. People have a death date. In between, there's a little dash. But what that dash is what tells the story of that person's life. And that's exactly what the products that we have are able to do. To tell you how good our storybooking and scrapbooking products are, think of it this way. First, Oprah Winfrey. The power of the advertisement of Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey, not once, not twice, but 3 different times, has put in her magazine of her favorite products the product that we call Heritage Makers. And a few years ago, when she did her all-time top 10 favorite products in the under $100 division, was our product, which brand name is Heritage Makers on the digital side. In addition to that, we also have the traditional scrapbooking, headed by Miss Rhonda Anderson. Rhonda Anderson is an icon out there in the world of scrapbooking. Rhonda Anderson co-created a company many years ago called Creative Memories. And Creative Memories was a company that grew so big they were doing $400 million in annual sales. But now Rhonda is with us, helping to build our line to make sure it is the best of the best. And that's exactly what it is. You've got the leadership of the company. You've got the finances of the company. That's one leg. You've got the products. You've got the best of the best in front of the market niches where people are spending their money. The third leg, the compensation plan. I love talking about the compensation plan, and even though we don't have a lot of time on this event, and you'll be able to talk with the person who invited you, but let me just ask you a couple of questions. How many of you would like a raise every week of your life? Now, I look back to what Cody and I, we've been involved, as I said, for just a little over a year in Youngevity. And just about every week and every month, our check continues to go up. In traditional America or whatever country it may be, it's unthinkable to think about getting a raise every week or every month. What I also like is that there's times when we get to take breaks. But even as we're taking breaks, people in our downline are working. And as you set up your organization and you're taking a break, but people in your downline are working, you will earn money every time a sale is made. Not only that, but we have already, in just a year's time, gone on 2 different vacation cruises, and they were free. We just won them because we were willing to open our mouth and share Youngevity throughout the world. More about our compensation plan. Our CEO pack, which is one of the best ways that anybody could begin. Our CEO pack is so rich in compensation for you that you can earn up to 65% every time you sponsor a new person with the CEO pack. I don't know of any company anywhere in the industry who's willing to pay up to 65%. Then you add into that that once you have in your team with as little as about 5,500 US dollars in volume in your group, you start receiving a car allowance. It starts at $300, but it works its way quickly up to $1,000 that you can use on a car each and every month. But what's even greater is that the company believes so much in us that they want us to be able to participate in this incredible growth that they're having out there. Every person that joins has the ability to earn up to 100,000 different stock options. And guys, that's huge. Whether you're trying to earn an extra 500, 1,500, 2,500 a month, it's easy. We have the path to be able to put you on so that you can earn that extra income. And the great thing about it is the income that you earn in our industry, but also with our company, is residual. In other words, it keeps coming month after month after month. I'm in that age bracket of 55 to 65 years old. Retirement is looking me right in the eye. And one of these days, before too long, I'll be able to retire. The great thing about it, though, is when I retire, um, my check will continue to come month after month after month. That's called residual income. Can you imagine being able to receive the paycheck you're receiving right now for the rest of your life? And that's exactly what residual income is. And that's exactly what we have right here to offer with you. The fourth leg is timing. Sometimes people ask me, Keith, is timing important? And I just bring up two examples. I just say, well, let me ask you a question. Think of Henry Ford. If he had been born in 1763 instead of 1863, there wouldn't be cars all over our freeways that have the name of Ford on them. Ask Bill Gates, the richest man in the world. But if he'd been born 100 years earlier than that, he wouldn't have had the things he needed to be able to become the richest man in the world. Why? It's all about, guys, timing. Too many people in our industry, and as they try to analyze our industry, too many people think that the greatest time to join a company is in the very, very beginning, when sales are just started. That's one of the biggest errors that I could possibly think of. To me, that's one of the worst times to join a company. Why? It's easy. Most companies go out of business in that first year or second year. You don't want to go and spend 2 years of your life building only to have the company go away. What you want instead is to join with a company that's going through momentum. Now, momentum is a phrase that's used often in our industry, but I've seen it happen over and over again. Every company that's reached $1 billion has gone through momentum. And momentum is when your company is doing approximately 50 million in annual sales. And at about that time that it's doing somewhere between 50 or even 75 million, it takes off like a rocket ship, just going straight upward. If you look at the growth that Youngevity has had in just the last few years, you know that we're right on that verge of growing very, very rapidly. Last year, we did 87 million. This year, we will do, it's projected somewhere around 125 million. Guys, that's rapid growth. And if we keep that growth up by the end of year 2017 or 18, we will be the next billion-dollar company in the industry. But the greatest thing about it is that in the next 3 or 4 years, 900 million in new sales will be coming into our company. And where will those sales go? In whose downline? It's easy. They'll go in the downline of the people who are simply reaching out and sharing the products, who are sharing the story, who are sharing this with people every day. I don't know who brought you here today or who invited you here today, but get with them, and they will help you choose the right method to get started. They will help you choose the right pack and the right auto ship pack. And they'll also put you on that path to whatever it is, whatever your dreams may be, whether it's $500 a month, whether it's $5,000 a month, whether it's $25,000 or even more. Guys, I've been in the industry for 30 years. I've seen companies go or come, and I've seen companies go. I've also seen companies come and make it. And there's only the very, very few that are ever able to do that. And with my 30 years of experience in this industry, I can tell you that Youngevity is the giant that everybody is rushing to. What we want more than anything is for you to come, to join with us, to be part of the incredible growth that we're having, to come and be part of products that will change your life forever, to come and be part and be led by leaders who knows what it takes to get to the top. Guys, this simply is the greatest opportunity of a lifetime. And this opportunity is available right now for each and every one of you. I hope that you will all talk with that person who brought you on to this call and get started today. And with that, I would like to say thank you very, very much for joining with us. And thank you very much for joining us on this very first momentous Google Hangout that we've had. We're always going to be there to help you. The motto that we have is we're willing to do anything and everything to make sure that you will succeed. And with that, I'll simply say thank you, good night, and best wishes to you all. Thanks.